Yeah.
Hello.
Hey Siri, turn volume all the way up. Yes, indeed.
Let's go.
Hey,
Hey,
my present. Yeah, 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 yeah.
hey,
Hey Siri,
hey.
stop.
There we go.
Well, man, what's up?
What's going on, buddy? Hello.
Not much, man. Well, welcome. This is our first podcast. I got my boy Corey here. This podcast is called Miss Signs. I'm so stoked to be able to do this, man. We've been talking about this for months now, and we finally been able to get it into place. You know what I mean?
Sacked up. Finally sacked up. Now we're here.
For sure. We want to eventually get everybody in person because it's so much easier, so much better that way. Yeah. But I mean, we got to do what we got to do at this point. We got to hit the ground running. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But Corey, bro, damn, man. I met you when I went to VW on my first initial visit.
What a time, dude. What a time. You and B. Carroll, son. I will never forget that day that I got the phone call to come to Coach's office, and I walk in and here's you and Brian Carroll, and he's like, hey, these kids are from Delaware, you know. Y'all walked out of the office and Coach told me we really want Dave. Brian just has to come with him. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. So
bro, like, damn, when I first got to Virginia Wesleyan, I got there, I went around the campus, all that good stuff. Went into the actual, give me 1 second, hold on. Family group message is going crazy right now. But I took a tour around the campus, and then I went up into Coach Francis' office. And then that's when I saw Casey sitting in the chair, and I saw you standing up, and then Coach Francis sitting in his chair. And then it's me and my mom. So it's just like, what's going on here? Like, is like one of them in trouble, or like, wait, like, is it a game plan? Like, what's going on? And then just the energy that you just give off, bro, off rip was just unreal. It's just like, bro, like, I feel like I've known him since I was 6 years old. Bro, but like, man, you're just so welcoming. And honestly, if it wasn't for that, I probably would have looked at other schools. Not necessarily would have went to the other schools, but like, man, it's just like having that. And then the overnight visit, that sealed the deal, bro. Like, it was just like, bro.
Yeah, when I almost woke up without a girlfriend, that was lit, dude. That was hype. Yeah. Oh, got out of that one, didn't I, huh?
Mm-hmm.
God, what a wild time.
For sure, man. But I just want to say, man, I'm happy to have my best friend on for my first pod. Yes. Actually, you're going to be co-hosting it with me.
Yes.
So we're going to be taking off. We're going to be running. And sky's the limit, bro. We're going to run with this for sure. So I just want to...
We just got to hope that we don't crash and burn like every third game in 2K. So.
Yeah, we'll get into the 2K stories for sure. So, Corey, tell me a little bit about yourself, man. Like, I know you grew up in VA. I know you didn't go to Bayside, did you? Or did you go to Ocean Lakes?
Virginia Beach, Bayside High School.
Okay.
It's crazy as fuck, dude. I have my 10-year high school reunion this year. Wow. Probably not.
Are you going?
Because there's a lot more successul people that graduated at my school. So I'm probably going to sit this one out.
We'll tap into that in a second, but go ahead.
But no, yeah. So went to Wesleyan, had a great time, 5 years. Took a little victory lap, ups and downs, some great decisions, some awful decisions. Graduated, didn't get to walk at graduation. Played baseball at the time of my life with some really good guys. I mean, connections I'll have forever, like you and I, like just one off the top of the head. And then Hung around at Virginia Beach, sold everything that you could probably think of in Virginia Beach. I sold sports memorabilia, solar panels, buildings, beer. And it just reached a point with me where I was like, dude, there's got to be something else besides shore drive and the oceanfront. Like doing the same stuff every weekend with the same people. Like, yeah, like my friends in Virginia Beach are great. I'd do anything in the world for them, but like I view Virginia Beach, it's like, dude, if you don't get out, you never will. And even if I were to have came down here to Dallas and shit the bed, I mean, I could have gone back to Virginia Beach, like, you know what, I didn't make it. And, that's more than a lot of people can say that just stay in one place their whole life. But dude, I got down here, met some really incredible people, worked probably way more than I should. I mean, shit, having to leave.
I can attest to that, bro. We'll be in the middle of it'll be a Saturday night. We'll be locked in on 2K. Like he'll get a work phone call and be like, yeah, I gotta run. I'm like, dude, are you serious? It's like 10:30, 11 at night. But man, that's another thing. So like, man, bro, like that just shows how much you value your work ethic and how much you're willing to do to get to that point. So I was going to go into this a little later, but now that you said that, let's dive straight into that, and then we'll go kind of backwards and then go back forward. So since you said that you worked a little bit more than you should have, and I've witnessed it. Where are you at now, and where did you start?
So, I'd never sold a toilet in my life. I just knew, your basic knowledge of, a faucet has hot and cold water, a toilet, you flush it, the shit goes away. So I didn't know anything. And opportunity came up for me to move out here and get into sales in the wholesale industry for the plumbing side of the world. And I got hired with the intent of, final position being outside sales. But because I didn't know what I was going to be selling, I started in the warehouse. So for about a year, my day started at 5:30. And everybody else's day in the warehouse got to start at 7. But I built a very good relationship with this gentleman named Tim Martinez, who is the warehouse manager at the biggest warehouse that we have in Texas. And him and I, we became very, very close. Personal level, even, more so than work. We'd go out after work and have beers and just, he just wanted to get to know me. And because I was out here with no family, no friends, nothing. So it reached a point where he was like, all right, you're going to learn everything that I do, and you're going to see like how to take it to the next level. So I'd get to work at about 6 o'clock every day and work till about probably 5:30, 6 o'clock every day. And I would load trucks, pull orders, go on runs, basically anything you can think of that has to do with a warehouse. I did it, right? Like crashed a few forklifts, crashed 3 in 2 days working there. That was lit. We can talk about that too. Did that. There's actually a video of me somewhere. I got stuck. I got a forklift stuck and couldn't get it out of an aisle. So that was pretty cool. Surprisingly, I still have a job. I guess it was really hard to fire people when I started working out here during COVID. So thank God for that. But yeah, so worked my way up, figured everything out with the help of him on the shipping side, and then graduated to receiving. And good friend of mine that I worked with in receiving, his name was Kevin Cox. He left the company probably about a month or 2 after I started working for him in receiving. And the manager at the time, he just kind of looked at me and was like, here you go. Don't fuck it up. And so me being working in a warehouse for 7 months, I was handed the keys to a $7 million warehouse and said, don't mess anything up.
Right.
So that was
how did that feel? Like, was it overwhelming?
It was, and it wasn't, right? So It was overwhelming because, it was a thing that I knew how to do the receiving part. I just had never been in a management-ish position, right? Like the real supervisor that they gave us over there, his name was Rob. Rob basically looked at me and said, dude, I don't know what goes on over here. And he was like, so I'm really going to lean on you. And for me, being in a warehouse for 7 months and having somebody who's been in a warehouse for years say, hey, I don't know how to do this side of the business, I'm really going to rely on you. It was really cool, but at the same time kind of add a little bit of pressure, right? So we had 2 or 3 guys over there that were solid. One of which I helped train him. His name is Ty, also known as Freebands Ty. So Ty and I got really, really cool. He came in as a temp worker. Him and I started to get to know each other on a very personal level, became really good friends. Long story short, he now runs the whole receiving operation there. So he went from a temp agency worker to the head of receiving over there. So that was really, really cool to see. But just going through that, understanding each side of the warehouse business, and then got moved into inside sales. Didn't really get any training or anything on it. Just, hey, here you go. Once again, here are the keys. Don't fuck it up. Handled 3 supervisors. So I handled new construction sales for a company called Horizon. And they are one of the biggest home builders out here or biggest plumbing new construction companies out here. And I had 4 supervisors out in the west side of the Metroplex, so out in Fort Worth. And one of them was absolutely fantastic. 2 of them, you could honestly, you possibly could argue that they were retarded. And one was just an absolute just prick, right? So I really got a taste of a lot of things when I first got into sales.
Right.
And
it's a lot, man. It is.
Yeah. Learned from a lot of the guys that were there. And then a guy that I worked with who I went to a lot because he'd been in the industry for a while, he got let go. So he gets let go. He ran the east side of what I handled. So one day I walk into work, I have 4 supervisors. The next day I walk into work, I have 14.
Wow.
So I was now handling probably.
So at that point, did you feel like you were like, man, I'm at the bottom of the barrel now because you already brought in all these other people, or?
Well, no. So
like that.
So at our company, they have this thing called the Impact Program. And that's where all these kids come in and they go to sales or management.
Matter of fact, shout out your company. Like, who do you work for?
So I work for Reese USA. Yep. We're headquartered in Dallas, which is actually why I moved out here to be close to the corporate office. But our actual mothership is in Australia, where they own about 60% of the market share out there for what we do. So they were bringing people in all the time, younger guys straight from, A&M and things like that, where, they get their degree in distribution management, right? Whereas I got a degree in how to say hello, right? I got a degree in communication. Yeah, great. You know the English language. You can formulate a sentence. Here's a piece of paper. Good for you. That's what I was told, right? So, I mean, I'll tell you from day one, the most important class growing up is recess. Because if you don't know how to talk to anybody, how are you going to be successful, right? So
that's 100% true, bro. And honestly, you can talk to anybody.
Yes. Yeah, thank God, right? I can talk to him about shitters. I can talk to him about anything. Awesome.
But I want to stop you there because, man, it says a lot about your company because you started from the ground up, right? I feel like Ty did the same thing almost. He came in and he started out where he was and then he got to where he actually wanted to be. So it seems like there's room for growth, which is
There is.
always great to have in a company.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's like y'all put in the work to get to that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
That's
I go ahead. My fault.
no, like that's it, right? Like a lot of times I get a bunch of grief from like
You can
people.
cuss,
They're
bro.
like,
I don't
wow,
care.
like you're on call 24 hours a day, like you do this and that. Yeah, well, like I've been with the company for 2 years and I've gone from working a warehouse to now I am a regional salesman for a specific portion of our company, right? Like I run our 24-hour program, and I'm an account specialist, and I cover Waco all the way to Tulsa, and I'm 28 years old. So
It's
by the
dope, bro.
time
You're
I'm
doing a thing,
31,
man.
I won't have to worry about being on call 24 hours. Or by the time I'm, once it comes time to really, start the progression of, settling down and things like that, I'll be on my transition out into something else because I've worked hard enough to get there so quickly. And that's how I've always looked at it.
100%, man. Because it's like, yeah, it sucks to begin with, but it's not necessarily the short game, man. It's a long game. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And if you can look and see through all the BS that you go through in that short amount of time to get to where you eventually want to be, then it really doesn't matter. Like like some days suck, honestly. You come home, you're upset, or you're just quiet and like you just don't want to talk to anybody. You're just to yourself. But man, like I get that, and I wanted to say this to you, Corey, bro, because listen, I was listening to a podcast this morning. So shout out $1 million worth of game. I don't know if you've ever listened to it, but man, they're great. They're sponsored, or I think the partner they're sponsored. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but they're a part of like Barstool Sports, and I know you know who Barstool Sports is. Like Dave Portnoy, man, like that's the guy, the piece of reviews, like I love all that shit. But man, he had it's Wallow and Gilly, two great people, man. Like they're just awesome. And every time they release a podcast, I listen to it, whether it's someone I don't relate to or whether it's someone I do relate to. But it's just how they come off in that podcast, man, it's just different than any other podcast. And I listened to multiple. So they had Ice Cube on there, and Ice Cube, right? They got to be at a certain standard to be able to get Ice Cube on their podcast.
No, absolutely.
But Ice Cube was on the podcast, man, and he said, "Do not complain about what you didn't get because of the work you didn't put in." And I think that solidifies you. But not only you, but like people you surround yourself with, like not even just gonna come about me, but like your homies. Like you got Frank, you got Smitty, you got Bryce, you got Drake, you got George. Like all of them dudes, like they put in the work to get to where they are, and maybe they're not successful on their end, but from a different standpoint, they're successful.
Yeah,
and they're where they are because of that work that they put in, man. And that just goes to show that, like, bro, if you surround yourself by the people that want to put in that work, you're gonna put in that work. So kudos to you, bro. I love it. Much respect, bro. Much respect for sure. Also, so we'll we'll go back a little bit because that was gonna be towards like the middle, towards the end type of concept. I was gonna talk about how you grew up and this, that, and other. But let me ask you this: was baseball your primary sport? Like, was that always what you wanted to do?
So it was until it was too late.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is I played everything growing up. I played soccer, I played baseball, I played basketball. You can attest to this. Junior varsity, 2009. I made a turnaround fadeaway at the top of the key. My only points all year in a scrimmage against Northview. You would have thought
a scrimmage.
You would have thought I hit a game winner, my boy. Greatest moment of my life. You want to talk about thinking ass? Do that while you look like this at Bayside High School. No, absolutely. I thought I was gonna be stop. So basketball. Then honestly, I wrestled in middle school. I didn't win a single match, so that was cool. Kind of taught me to not do that. Yeah, dude. I thought I was just gonna go in there and be like, you know what? What is wrestling? Nobody does this. Like, let's see how this goes. I got mopped. I mopped the floor. Like they didn't even have to clean up the mats after because I mopped.
You did it.
So wrestling wasn't it. My last year of high school, I walked into the gym in the summertime, and Coach Kiros was in there with the men's volleyball team. And long story short, I go to work out with my buddy Chance. We're leaving. And then as I'm leaving, I go and try and dunk freaking volleyball, and I do. And then we're walking out, and this man, Kiros, goes, dude, come play volleyball. Like, come back to practice tomorrow. And I thought he was out of his mind, and I'd never played volleyball. I wasn't going to play volleyball. Like, you're an idiot. Robbie Driscoll, buddy of mine, went to middle school together, went to high school together. He's like, dude, what's the worst that happens? He's like, you're going to play this position. It'll be fun. Dude, if I could go back in time and never play baseball again and only play volleyball, I think I would.
Right.
Volleyball is probably one of the most fun, intense, always like in the moment sports I think I've ever played.
I'm not gonna lie, like we played we would play volleyball every once in a while in the gym, and I used to tease Brittany, my girlfriend. You guys will eventually meet her. But if you don't meet her, or if you don't know her, then you will meet her. But we were in the same gym class, and like she played volleyball, and like we would just go back and forth. I would just talk shit to her. I'm like, yo, I'm so much better than you at volleyball. Like, stop.
I'm totally gonna get something from her. That's what you're saying. Don't let him fool you, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let him fool you, ladies and gentlemen. That was high school David Kennedy. That boy was thinking the whole time, how am I gonna
But nah, we would be in gym class, bro, and like we would be playing volleyball. But nah, volleyball is really fun. Like it's a fun sport, and I'm like, dude, like it's not too much running. It's not too much of this. Like, it's just like everything compact in one. And unlike because ultimately it's like on a basketball court type situation.
Yeah.
But basketball, you're running end to end. Like, your cardio is ridiculous.
I'll tell you right now, there is nothing better than having no idea what you're doing or who you're playing against, because you have absolute nuts of steel. Okay. Like, I'm talking in baseball, like you can see a guy throwing 92 and you're kind of like, oh, I know what that is. Like, I've played this my whole life. You can walk into a gym and see three guys that are like 6'6", 6'7". Like, I don't know anything about this guy. I hope he's not a gangly giraffe, because it's going to be a bad day for him. Well, little do you know that the three guys you're playing against all have D1 offers and are about to just absolutely annihilate your wrists. Okay. Let me tell you, dude, after game two, it was heavy wrist tape all day. Okay. Oh, dude, it's awful. Horrible. And like,
literally though, bro, because it's not like a warm up like how baseball is. Like, baseball, like you can see the pitcher warming up. You can see what potential, I guess, like not necessarily prospects or like athletes on the other team that are gonna be a problem to your team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a difficult thing. There is a little bit of warm up with volleyball, but it's just like it's not to that extreme. You know what I mean?
Bro, you have a dude doing warm ups and stuff, like, and y'all are like hitting it across to each other, and then like one team clears and they're setting, outsides to each other, and you see three dudes come right in and hit a 10-foot line. You're like, You're mine.
See you
I don't
later.
even know what that means, but I'm not afraid of you, kid. We're going after it. Meanwhile, if you've played long enough, you're like, oh God, that's so-and-so. He's going to Penn State. He's an absolute dog. It's like, my name's Corey. I went to Bayside. I'm going to Wesleyan. Like, let's ride. Like, what's like in a situation like that? What is the worst that happens? You go down in history. You go down. If you stuff block those guys, you go down in history. There is no regard for human life at that point. You're a dog. You're going at them. Absolutely. Bonk me on my head with the ball. That's fine. That's expected. It's my first go round. If I stuff you, you're trash. You're trash. Give me your scholarship. Bro. Give me your scholarship. That's what I thought. I thought there was a possibility.
100%, bro. I know. Yeah.
If you want to talk about real sports that every kid should play at some point. And I'm not saying this because I live in Dallas now. But you let a kid grab a pair of skates and go out on a rink somewhere. Hockey's an all-time sport.
If you're a boy, I'll turn you into a man 100%. I had one friend, Quincy, that I forget where he was from, but he might have been from Oregon or something like that. But man, like he had like in his yard, he had like a not necessarily like a ice skating rink or anything like that, but it was like rollerblades playing hockey on blacktop. I don't know what they call that or anything like that, but man, like he was just a beast. And then like he would just do some crazy stuff, like things I wouldn't even think of. Like, so he'll have the gloves on and then like he'll just rub it across your face and it hurts. Like it hurts. It's just like, dude, like, bro, you're nasty. Like, what's going on? But like, that's how you play, and like, it definitely will build you into a man. Like that. That's crazy.
So,
it is super dope.
Wesleyan teammate of mine. His name is Zach Burkhart. Berkey's from the Berg up in Pittsburgh.
Oh, he played hockey, right?
And him and his cousin. So his cousin's nasty. Vinny with an I. Vinny with an I, bro. Vinny's nasty. Shout out cousin Vinny. So every winter, there's this pond that freezes over. And all of them drive down there and they play pond hockey every winter on the same pond. Like that right there to me, that's fire.
It is dope, but I just think about like, man, what if this cracks a little bit?
You're dead. I mean? You don't even think about it. You're dead. You're dead.
You're cold. Like you gotta figure out a way to get out of there, man.
Your toes are gone. Your fingers are gone. You're dead. You're gonna look like an eggplant. You're gone. You're gone.
Corey, I know we're on a time crunch, but I want to leave some questions for you to ask me.
Yes.
But I still have a couple of questions to ask you.
Absolutely.
So,
let's do this.
20,
let's do this. Our
20,
first
30
episode,
minutes?
Well, let's do this. It's our first episode. We can cut it a little short. Let's see this. David Kennedy.
Right.
Out of the 302, it was 2 hours. It was 2 hours and 30 minutes from my driveway in Virginia Beach to his driveway in Delaware. I'm talking, I remember how to get to his house. I could do it blindfolded. You make a right on a Northampton, drive for about 2 hours.
Don't say too much. Don't say too much. 2
hours.
God forbid it takes off.
No, 2 hours and 20 minutes. And then you make a few turns and you're at my man. Like I'm telling you. Growing up in a place where all you can see is cornfields, what was it like?
Man, honestly, it was great, bro. Like being in a small town, it's like, yeah, everybody knows everybody, but at the same time, everybody knows you. So it's like you go into different restaurants, you go into different locations. It's like a meetup almost. So, for example, everybody goes out to Dewey. Corey, you know about that.
Don't talk to me about Dewey, baby.
Everybody goes out to Dewey.
Shout out Starboard.
Right. But it's just like a high school reunion out there because everybody goes to one location or a location that's near that location. So like everybody knows each other, but like it's dope though. Like it's not necessarily a good thing and it's not necessarily a bad thing. You know what I mean?
No, to piggyback off of that,
Yeah.
how much did you realize? I know you said it was a good thing or a bad thing. How much did you really enjoy going out and seeing the same people and doing the same thing over and over again?
I didn't necessarily enjoy doing that. What I did enjoy was hanging out with my homies, hanging out with my girl, and just having a good time, getting turned up. That's the biggest thing. I didn't care about seeing anybody else, honestly.
Yeah.
Because like, for example, like when you were coming to pull up, I didn't care about going to any other bars that I've already been to numerous times, but I just wanted to show you a good time. So I didn't care about people that was there. I cared about the people that I was with. And that's just how I am, bro. Like I just want everybody to have a good time that's with me. So even if I'm not having a good time, I want to make sure they're having a good time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's just how I am, bro. Like I don't know.
So kind of like myself.
Yeah.
And I probably got about.
And I think that's why we mesh
Yeah.
really well. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
You got about 10?
So I've got about 10. So I'll ask you one last question so the viewers can get to know you. Went to Wesleyan. You know, obviously ups and downs. Still upset about how you skirted on me that one day.
We can talk about that. We're going to talk about that.
No, yes, we'll talk about that in detail. But
for sure,
you know, everything that happened. You go home. You're in Florida now. How did David Kennedy get to where he is right now?
Well, first off, I'm gonna shout out to my big bro, but he my cousin, Dwayne.
Let's go.
Yo, much love to the guy, man. Like, bro, I would not be in the position I am now if it wasn't for him. So he gave me the opportunity. I had just graduated college, and I was just fresh in the field, bro. I was still serving, and serving at a restaurant, but but he was like,
your girlfriend will probably watch this, so no jokes from me.
Yeah, nah, you're good. But nah, he was like, man, like you can come out here, you can stay here a couple months rent free, and until you get on your feet, and then just go from there. So it just gave me the route to be able to see more, like, because Delaware, you're content, like you're tied in with the same people that you see every day. Like you go to the store, you'll see people that you went to high school with, and it's repetitive. And I know I hear the same thing with people in Florida. So like that's the hard part, and I'm trying to like I don't know, try to like balance that out. But it's like I guess it's the same everywhere to an extent. But Florida's a huge ass state.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point, man. He gave me the opportunity to come out here. I came out here, but beforehand, man, I was reaching out to multiple jobs. I had like 2 or 3 job interviews the day after I actually got to Florida, because like coming from my background, it's like you can't be without a job. Like you got to do something. So I had to have something lined up before I actually got there. And I'm like, one out of those 3, I'm gonna get. So started with the I was a security guard at a hospital, and then from there I went to being a correctional officer at the
Dave used to beat
juvenile.
up kids. Dave used to beat up kids.
No, stop. Then I went to being a correctional officer at the detention center. And then from there, I went to, because, so full transparency, that shit took a lot off of, like, mentally wise, bro. Like that, it's a lot to take in, because you hate seeing the same kids come back, and you hate seeing the kids grow up from poverty and be in that situation because they really couldn't do anything else but do that. And that's what sucked. And I hated that. And that's what, like, always in my heart, bro. If I make it big, I'm going to try to give back to every community I can, which financially wise, which will be like, I guess, I don't know, just it'll be okay with what I have set aside, like what I want to do. And like, I still can have the budget to allocate that to that situation. But I want to give back to everybody, bro. That's just how I am, man. But yeah, I saw that, bro. It took a toll on my mental health. I was constantly arguing with my girl, bro. We was in a bad situation, and not to get you wrong, like I brought her from Delaware to Florida, and that's a bad situation to be in. Like, she don't have any family out here. I have my cousin, and now I have my aunt out here. Thank God, I love them the most. But yeah, bro, like I'm putting her in a bad situation just because of work. Like, and that's just not cool with me, bro. It takes I feel like that's a sense of growth because I acknowledge that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want her to continue to feel like that. So I left that job. I went and was working for a moving company. Hated that shit. That shit was awful.
College hunks moving.
Dude, college hunks is in Texas because they're in Florida.
I know they tried to hire me when I wasn't in college.
I'm kidding, bro.
But yeah.
Bitch, I lied.
Not to get you wrong. But yeah, I worked for a moving company, man. And then shortly after, I applied for an insurance spot.
Anybody that sees us in the state of Florida, if you need insurance, please give Dave a call.
Of course, I got you. Home, auto, umbrella, boat.
Do it all. If you just bought a ring for your girl, ring it.
Personal articles. I need all that. Yeah, we got you. We'll get you taken care of. But I applied for that, man. I got to where I am now. But ultimately, bro, like, just the culture, the type of vibe that you get off of the family in Urban Young. Shout out Urban Young Insurance, man. It's just insane. They're going to continue to take off, bro. Sky's the limit for them. Independent agency is just nuts. Like, they do something different that no other business does, and we can tackle that on another podcast when we got more time. But man, like, it's just like you fall in love with the culture that they provide because they're so welcoming. They're understanding, and they just get where you come from, and I respect that the most, man. And like, it's just super dope, man. It is super dope, bro. Like, so I have my degree in criminal justice, and I'm selling insurance. So,
bro, yeah, like that's the biggest misconception in the world is like. And obviously, for anybody that watches this, obviously, if you have the opportunity to go to college and you know that, you want to do something in a specific field where like you're going to need to have that to break into it, then by all means, like, go for it. But I mean, 9 times out of 10, unless you're going to be a doctor, lawyer, or something of that nature, you're going to end up doing something that degree has nothing to do with.
No relevance.
And this isn't a plug for, only do trades or something like that. But I mean, one thing I learned very early on in my sales career, it didn't even have anything to do with sales. It had to do with the customers that I work with, that in the world that we live in today, there are more millionaire plumbers than there are doctors.
It's a fact.
So think about that. Like, and those guys, like, obviously, like, your parents, the college is the dream and all that stuff. But I mean, there's a lot that can be said for a kid that, knows what he wants to do and knows that if college isn't going to be the answer, that he knows how he's going to make it. And like, and I've had this conversation with my girlfriend before, and I know it's, years and years away, but she's a very big college is the only way to do it person. And I'm a very big, figure it out and let me know what you think you're going to want to do. And if my son or daughter, this mainly revolves around my son, but there are some women out there that, that go into trades and electricians and things like that. But
if they come out and say, hey, like, this is what I want to do. I want to do an apprenticeship. I want to do this. Like, who am I to say no? Like, if I could go back and do it, I don't need a degree to, sell stuff.
Do what you're doing. Right.
Yeah. Like, I don't need a degree to sell stuff. Do I think plumbing's awesome? And that's a big part of why I enjoy going to work every day. Absolutely. We have to cut this short because I got to go to a job site today. Like,
right. Yeah,
it's all part of it. Like,
but that's another thing, man. Like, everybody thinks it's like you coming out of high school, you got to go to college, but that's not necessarily the route you have to take. Like, you can go to a trade school. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can consider that college, but at the same time, you don't have to do that. If it's something that you want to do, like, you can do that, and that's what I want my daughter to understand, man, and just be like, yo, if you don't want to do college, if that's not for you, I understand. And I'm not going to be mad at you, but like, you just feel like that's the appropriate thing to do. You said that's clean, but you feel like that's the appropriate thing to do. But I just want her to understand that, man, you don't have to go to college, do what you want. But at the same time, they still need some guidance. So that's the hard part in trying to find that balance. But we'll figure that out. But man, damn, dude, crush that lunch today.
Yes,
I know you are. Sell the shit out of that water heater, that tankless water heater, or whatever you're selling, and we'll definitely go back on that on the next pod. Not
I
sure.
promise all of our podcasts aren't going to be this serious. This is just trying to get to know each of us.
This isn't even serious though. Like, we're just chilling. We're just chatting for real, for real. But we're trying to do podcasts weekly. Hopefully, like, every Sunday I can upload. I can do my editing, this, that, and the other. Hopefully we can get a really good guest next week. I'm going to check in with him and see what he got
Popular
going on.
opinion, New York Giants to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no. They're losing first round.
No shot. Go Washington Commanders, I guess, right, Dave?
No, absolutely not. I'm over them. They need to fire everybody in management. I am over it. But like, that's where we can take it, bro. We can go to different. Bro, it's a lot we can do with this, but man, this is a great first podcast. Yeah. Thank you so much, Core.
Absolutely.
I know you're gonna crush this lunch. We'll definitely be talking afterwards. And then just figuring out what we can do different and figuring out how we can bring more to the plate. Just go from there, bro. But thank you. I appreciate it. It's so much more we can expand on. Yep. But we have limited time.
Today.
Honestly,
we'll be back at it next week. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Honestly, this pod probably could have went for like 3 hours.
Oh, easy. Especially when we started off the way we did, because there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot
to unpack to get to where we are and this and the other. There's a lot of things at play. But man, thank you. You the guy. I appreciate you. Thank you for being so welcoming when I came to V-Dub. You didn't have to be that way, bro, but you was that way. So I appreciate you. I'm always in your corner. You know, my family's in your corner always. Call on me on whatever. And crush that deal, man. Seal that motherfucker. Drink some coffee. Coffee means closing.
All right. Well, I was gonna say something inspirational, but that just threw me off. So ABC, buddy.
Really? Are you about to cry?
No. And a message from my salespeople out there, ABC.
And shout out your company, man, again, bro. Just to reiterate that. And
Horse and Supply, Reese USA.
Go ahead and lock in your socials. I'm gonna put all of that. I'm gonna link in everything, bro. I'm gonna have it all laid out. I'll have you look at it, but go ahead and you can tap into your socials.
So follow me Twitter, on IG, Coors Light _17. I don't even know what my Twitter is. I have one TikTok video. I went on a crazy rampage with a C4 on in Verdansk. RIP Verdansk for real. Verdansk, greatest map, great. I mean, argue me if you want. The greatest COD map of all time is Verdansk. They they really prematurely blew that load because no map will ever be as good as Verdansk. You cannot convince me otherwise.
I'm going to disagree because